Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this edition of the Curtlyn Warner Show. Today we have a new edition. It's called Let's Talk About It. I'm your host, Curtlyn Warner, and my co-host today is Elvis Flanders, who will be the host of the program today.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Mr. Warner, for having me, for asking me to be a part of your program and part of the show. Today I'll be the host. Today you are the guest. Today we're going to talk about COVID-19 and your experience having to have had COVID-19. What is your experience, Mr. Warner?
Well, my experience was it was very simple to start with. One thing I must let the general public know that I've been working in one of the entities on the island that government has sifted out as one of the clusters for COVID that had the most COVID cases at the time when I was infected. So I was pretty much aware of what's going on when it's come to COVID-19.
You said one of the entities, meaning one of the institutions in government, or where did you contracted your virus?
One of the establishment. There was two establishments mentioned by government as the cluster for COVID-19, and I worked mainly at one of the locations.
Okay.
So during my time of knowing that I'm working at the cluster, I take measures into my own hand. After the first two cases at the establishment where I worked, I managed to divide my home. Thank God that I have a 3-bedroom home, a 3-bedroom apartment. I managed to stay in one, my wife in one, and the kids in the other. I have 2 boys, so it was separated from them. And that mainly happens before I was contacted. This was like 2 weeks before I was contacted.
So you started self-isolating yourself?
Yes.
Owing to the fact that where you work, there were a couple of your colleagues that were infected, and you decided to start taking precautionary measures.
Definitely.
And how did that go? Did you turn out to be positive?
Well, the simple fact that because I know where I am working and the position I hold at work, I will have to be collaborating with all of the staff. Okay. That's one of the reasons why I take that precautionary measures at home before.
So what was your experience? How did you find out that you were positive, that you tested positive? How did that process start? The
process started like this. It was on a Sunday afternoon like today, when I was at home and I just wanted to drink something. And I told my wife, give me some orange juice, and she gave me the orange juice. And when I drink the orange juice, I was like, what is this? This don't have no taste. You sure this is orange juice? She said, what? You better be careful. You better call those people and see if you ain't sick. And I smiled because I was feeling fine. Okay. Anyhow, later in the afternoon, my cousin in Curacao and I was on the phone, and I told her the same thing, and she said, yes, you got to follow your wife by calling
so
CPS.
So that is one of the symptoms of
that
this
was
virus?
One of the symptoms.
Did you have any fever during that time?
No fever, no other symptoms, but just losing that taste.
So you decided to go ahead and call CPR?
So I did go ahead. It was about 6 o'clock when I called CPS. Nobody answered. I get a little frustrated. I called back. No answer. And I called back my cousin, and she said, keep calling, somebody will answer. That's the number they said I have. I called for the 3rd time, and I did get an answer. And I explained them, I think that I need to be checked because I lost my taste. I can't taste. I don't have really no other symptoms. I had a few dizziness, but it was nothing to talk about. Okay, they tell me, okay, Mr. Warner, give us some information, and I provide them with the information that they asked for.
Okay.
And they promised me they would have come the next day, which was the Monday, to do the test.
So they came Monday and did the test as they said?
They came Monday at home, did the test. The test was very simple, but it's a little, tingling just to put that thing in your nose. A lot of people don't want it, but I managed to do the test, and when I finished the test, it was like Monday. They said, Mr. Warner, you won't be able to leave your home until you get the results. We'll have to get the results, and it can take up to 48 hours. I said, wow, 48 hours? I mean, I thought government was saying it should last at least 4 to 6 hours. If you do it in the morning, you should get an answer in the afternoon. She said, yeah, but you know, there is so much of people to test and so much of things going on. That's why we said 48 hours. For the rest of Monday, I get no results. On Tuesday around 2, I get no results. I started to get frustrated.
And during that time, what were your reactions at home? How was the family, reaction from them?
Like I said, home was divided already. So there was nothing, it was just wait for the results.
Okay.
And while waiting on the results, after 2, no answer. So I called the CPS and I said, but what happened? Why I can't get an answer? And I heard the minister saying that this thing can take up to 4 hours. You do it in the morning, you get it in the afternoon. And they say, yes, Mr. Warner, it is so busy. I say, yes, okay. I saw the update, and in the update, I didn't see nothing said pending. Usually I see they say, okay, 20 more tests are pending for results. I didn't see no pending, so I started to get frustration. And about around 4 o'clock, they did call and they said, Mr. Warner, you are COVID positive. And I was like, okay. The lady said, but you take it so easy. I said, yes, ma'am. Because I was prepared mentally
for the answer.
For the answer.
Right.
And when they said yes to me, it was like, wow, okay. So we had a discussion, and what they tell me is, okay, how much people live with you? And I explained them. I live with my wife and my 2 kids. I explained them the scenario that I've been practicing myself when I
in
come
isolation.
home. Yeah, I was practicing for this situation that you are saying.
So you thought way ahead that you probably would have been COVID positive.
Well, I wasn't
was that your
thinking that I
preparation?
would be COVID positive, but the simple fact that where you work is contaminated, you have 2, 3 of your employees or your co-workers that is contaminated. You gotta get something in your head that, hey, this thing can happen.
That you can
possibility that anybody can pick up this virus. Okay. So I decided to make my home self-sufficient. We bought paper cups, paper plates, plastic forks, plastic everything, just in case anything should ever go wrong. But anyhow, to say this, once she told me I was positive, I said, okay, well, I will just have to go through this. She said, okay, you will have to stay in quarantine for 14 days. And I told her, remember when you guys came to do the test, I asked you guys if you want to see my home, how I live, how I practice in it.
Did they assess your home?
They didn't look at it.
Okay.
I had to explain it to them on the phone.
Okay.
And they said, okay, Mr. Warner, so you will have to stay in self-isolation for 14 days. You can't come out.
Did they prescribe you any medication that you would have to take during your time in quarantine, or were you using any other medicine that you had from your doctor or anything like that?
Well, no. I never get a prescription, or they never tell me a recommendation of something I can do. I was just told that I was COVID positive, and so during the talk we had about a half an hour talk. They needed to get information where I live, if I should get sick, if I would need the ambulance. I tell them everything in the power to make sure.
Did they ever come to see if you stayed at home or anything as such?
Well, before I get to that part, after speaking to me, Mr. Flanders, they speak to my wife, because I tell them I feel it's best that you guys speak to her. I told her I'm COVID positive, CPS is calling you, they're going to speak to you and they will explain you, and they speak to her. And
did she have to also isolate herself, or?
Yes, everybody in the house had to be quarantined.
Okay.
I was self-isolated.
Away from the
rest of the family,
okay.
And the other rest of the family was quarantined, because the main fact that we live together.
Okay.
Okay, so the question you asked is if I ever been visited by CPS
during your time in quarantine.
Well, during my time of quarantine, I would like to thank my wife and my kids for doing such a great job of keeping me abreast. You know, it could be 3 o'clock in the morning, I get up and I want something to eat. Even if I say I want steak, the first person that get up will make sure that whatever I want to eat, they make it. It's just a knock on the door. They open the door and I say, hey, you're hungry, I need something to eat. They will say, what you need? I tell them, they go and they make it. The rules was nobody cannot get into my room. And that rules remain to now. Nobody can get in my room, so they come, they knock the door, put the food on the ground in a tray. Like I said, everything was plastic cup, plastic plate. We prepared that before.
Okay.
So
non-reusable, just
no. They put it there and I just take it up in the room. When I finish, I put it down and they will just come and take it up. Close back the door. You know. Now, in terms of washroom, there is one washroom in the house. But with the knowledge that I have about this thing, before I was contaminated with COVID, I started practicing.
You started the preparation?
Every time, yeah.
Okay.
I finished work at 12, 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I would come home, hang my clothes on the outside, go inside, go straight into the bathroom, take a shower. Immediately after I finish shower, I spray down the whole bathroom with the bathroom spray, clean it, spray disinfectant, and then I will come out.
Very
go
good.
to my room.
Very good.
And that was before.
Very good. So you started a process of, in case something was to go wrong, you were already in motion towards that direction.
Definitely.
Which was very good of you.
Definitely.
And how was the response from your other co-workers? Did your boss call you? Did any of your co-workers call you to see how you were going through this process?
Well, great question, Elvis. Great question. I'm going to take my mask off. You can keep yours off, on. It's a great question because after I was contaminated with COVID-19, I reached out to, I started with my family first. And I remember reaching out to one of my family and I told her, I was tested yesterday for COVID-19. They called me today and tell me I'm COVID positive. She said, wow. I said, you know, I'm going to put it in the family chat. She said, no. I said, I'm going to put it in the family chat and I'm going to let everybody know. She said, okay, if you feel comfortable. I did so. The same lady that I call is a cousin of mine, very dear cousin. Her name is Agnes. Immediately she said, okay, Cutty, I'm going to bring some bush for you. And within an hour, she brought some bush. I mean, you know, I cannot go outside because I live in an apartment complex. I have to be very careful that the other people around in the apartment don't get affected because of me. So I had to strategize whatever I'm doing. So when she came, she just hung it on the gate outside. What I did, I run outside, take it off the gate and come back inside. And it was lemongrass with 2 other bush. Some people call it worry wine. And I had to use that bush with ginger, garlic. So lemongrass, worry wine, ginger, garlic. You boil it. You don't just hot it, you boil it. And once you finish boil it, you squeeze a lime on the top of it when you're ready to drink it, and you drink it. When I drink that, Elvis, man, I call that tea up until today, the sweat box, the ultimate sweat box. I had a rag. I mean, everybody knows it's a rag. I take a rag, Elvis, and I dry my skin 3 times. And the amount of water come off of me is like I went from Phillipsburg to Marigot, running. So you know you'll be sweating. That tea. And I can tell you, Elvis, it was just a coffee cup of tea. It was no mug or just the smallest coffee cup is what I drink. But I drink it as hot as possible. And that thing sweat me. And today, I feel that thing just give me a lighter color on my skin. That's how powerful that tea was.
Wow.
Reaching out to my other friends, my closer friends, my co-workers, you know, management and staff, they did reach out to me every day, finding out how you're doing, how you're feeling. But one thing I can say, Elvis, during the whole process of my self-isolation, there was no day, there was one day during my period of having COVID-19 that I got sick. And I got sick for like maybe 3-4 hours. I was having some severe, not severe, but headaches.
Okay.
And I panicked. Honestly, I panicked and I said, like, it was the 3rd day. I said, man, this thing really gonna hit me. I can't take this because I in this panic mood now, like my head hurting me and I feeling dizzy. So I said, how to curb this? Then I remember once I went to a doctor, a good friend of mine, David, and he said, Cutty, you don't have a lot of oxygen in your body. What happened? Your room closed up? You don't open the window? And I said, no. And when I remember that, I said, oh my gosh, how do I get over this now? I need fresh air. So I'm living like 10 steps away, actually 10 footsteps away from the Lumber Ballpark that's in the back of Castle, for those who don't know where it is. I decided, man, I have to find a way to get myself some oxygen in my body, get air, get fresh breeze. So I decided, you know what, at 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, there is nobody on the field, nobody walking, nobody there, so I won't be trespassing, I won't be contaminating anyone. So I will just walk, go outside my gate. I use a napkin because my gate is remote. I have to use a napkin to punch in the code. The gate open. Me and the whole family, we go. We take a few laps around the field, walk as usual, sit down for maybe 45 minutes, get some fresh breeze, and then we come back home. And after that, that was it. I would do that every night to get that fresh breeze, and it makes me so comfortable. And on the third day, you know, I call another friend of mine that I didn't reach out to him at the time, and I tell him, boy, you know, I'm COVID positive, but I'm feeling fine, I'm doing fine, I don't have no symptoms, I don't have no bad feeling. And he said, man, I think I have something that will help you, but you gotta shot it. When you say you gotta shot it, I said, what do you mean? He said, when you get it, it's like drinking a bottle. You take a shot glass or you take a small glass and you pour maybe 4 ounces of it into the glass and you drink it.
And what was that? What was that?
That was lemon and ginger, raw ginger. There was no water added to it. So you grate the ginger, they blend it.
So you get the
they
pure,
squeeze the
pure
ginger and they squeeze. I can tell you, Elvis, when you drink that, it burns the whole of your chest. It's like fire. But everything that I use during the COVID experience, my whole entire family use it. I drink the tea, my family drink it. I drink that lemon and ginger, my family drink it. So everything. One thing I must tell you, you have to stay away from cold stuff. Nothing cold. My family had to stay away from cold stuff. They had to stay away from milky products. So Bush and the shot.
So that was your medication that you used
That was
during
my
this
medication.
time? No medication prescribed from the doctor?
No medication.
Just
but what I
regular
would do,
herbs and stuff.
what I would do, I have my vitamin C, my vitamin D. I have a couple of vitamins that I have home that I usually use. I continue using them, and I will use vitamin C. One thing I did for sure, because in the first wave of COVID, I always heard that paracetamol is very good. And I had like 500 boxes of paracetamol, so I will take 2 every day. 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon. Every day I take 2 paracetamol. Okay. My family will take probably 1 for the day, you know, because everybody was trying to be on top of their case. For me, I don't want them to get it.
No, of course. You want to make sure that your family is protected.
During a couple of days, during the COVID, my wife got a little upset after 6-7 days, you know. I was stuck in the room, like, you know, you can't get out of the room.
Did CPS ever call you during this time? Not even a phone call to see how you were doing? Or
great question, something for the public to know. I know CPS is very busy and they have the whole island to deal with. I've never received a call from them, unfortunately, but I guess they was very busy with whatever they had to do. But never receive a phone call, never receive a visit from them until the last day of my 14 days quarantine. Then they came by, they called, they said, Mr. Warner, this is CPS, we're going to come by and check you today. They did come back, they checked.
So they checked you on the first day and then on the last day?
On the last day.
In between, nothing? Nothing. Never showed up?
I've never received a phone call, I've never received.
So they don't know if you stayed home or not?
Well, I'm a disciplined person, Elvis. I'm a very disciplined person. As I said earlier, even me, I will afraid to go outside in the yard because of the simple fact that where I'm living is 10 apartments and I do not want to contaminate nobody around me. Right. So my principle is to stay at home for your full 14 days.
Very good.
And before I was contaminated, I was practicing this thing already. I have a lot of friends and they will see me if they come around me and say, listen, my brother, listen, I'm working in a spot where we have some cases and I don't know what's going on, so please You know, if
Stay
we
a
could keep a
distance.
distance,
Yes.
you know, because I cannot tell you what's
Yes.
going on. And a lot of people was happy with me telling them that before. So when I called some of them, they said, "Boy, you're a great member. You had a lot of understanding of this before, but it's something that you practice." And I'm encouraging you.
What would your advice be to people who gets COVID-19? What would your advice be to them about taking care of themselves? Should they do in terms of trying to boost their immune system and stuff like that?
Elvis, one of the first things when you get COVID-19 is not to panic. One of the first things you have to do not panic. Panic mentally plays with your mind. It mentally plays with your mind because it's going to bring you down to another level. Oh Lord, I really... So once you don't panic and you stand up like a boxer and said, I'm going to go forward. That's
so
what
your first take is to stay positive.
Stay positive. Okay. I can beat this. I can overcome this. So, and you got to drink a lot. I mean, like I said earlier, my remedy was bush. I get bush from maybe about 10 different people. Moringa, lemongrass, soursop leaf, bush that I don't even know the name. Even papaya leaf I drink. I was just drinking every day I would drink a different bush. Whatever bush they give me, I just drink it. And I will drink tea like 3-4 times a day. Another thing that I did was steaming, something that we call steaming. I would boil hot water, pour some salt in it. Some people use the lemon, the orange and those stuff. I never used that actually. What I used was vinegar. I just salt in the water with vinegar. And this is for the whole entire family. And I would take a sheet.
You drank?
No, I take a sheet. Okay. I take a bucket and I keep the bucket here as long as possible, and the heat will go up in your face.
So you inhale?
You inhale that, okay. And you're covered. So once you're covered, you sweat.
You soak up everything. Okay, okay.
You just keep sweating. When I'm tired of holding it, I sit down in the chair, I'll just put it here, like put it underneath me, and I put my foot over it, so I try to get the fume will come up still, and you sweat the same way. And that was one of the other things that, like I said, everything I did, the whole family did. So we just did it together. Very good,
very good, very good. So in terms of your recovery, your opinion, you felt good before the 14 days, or was there any other thing that you went through in terms of COVID-19 that, let's say, the different symptoms? Did you suffer any other symptoms besides the little headache that you talk about and the taste in your mouth? No fever came to you at no point in time?
Thanks for that question, Elvis. I was very fortunate, if that's the correct word. I was very fortunate. I had no symptoms absolutely during the whole 14 days. One of the things I always say, and I laugh, even when CPS came back on the final day to check and release me from the COVID, I said, ma'am, you guys do me something here that I didn't like. You guys put me in prison for something that I didn't do. And that's something that I share my sentiment with people. Because absolutely, Elvis, I mean, thank God again, and I will forever say, thank God that I never, ever had any bad feeling, no major symptoms, just the dizziness.
But would you contribute that to maybe your way of handling this situation? The medication and the teas that you drank could have been assisted with you not
before you started to hold yourself. But I must tell you something, Elvis. The taste, my taste only was last for a day. In 24 hours, I was able to taste everything again. So it was a kind of awkward to see, boy, I get back my taste. That the Monday after CPS did the test, the Monday afternoon the taste was there already. Strange.
So you basically had mild symptoms, but at the same time, your way of treating your COVID-19
instantly, immediately,
it helped you with the whole situation entirely.
You got to work on it immediately.
And this is the information I think that our people need to hear. You know what I'm saying? Your experience of how you went through COVID-19 and you being disciplined and doing all of the precautionary measures from the very early stage and making sure separate yourself from your family, and with the different vitamins and teas that you drank, could have contributed you to getting over the COVID much faster than normal circumstances. Whereas maybe there were people that got sick, and as you said, maybe what they probably did was they panicked, and they, you know, that changes everything, because in a state of panic, you can't focus.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? So I can tend to agree with you with that when you say, you know, people should stay positive, stay focused, you know, and not run up and down the street, you know, meeting other people, knowing that you have symptoms of COVID-19, rather than getting yourself isolated and starting to do the precautionary measures. I think this information is very important to the general public. Once they assess your situation, you know, it will help other people who may contract COVID-19. Instead of maybe just staying at home, feel pity for themselves, start to find a way of getting the right treatment and the right medication to assist you and overcome this situation. Because I think a lot of people are being, you know, irresponsible in the way in which they are handling themselves once they hear that they're, you know, they may have been in contact with someone who has COVID-19. So your experience is very vital to our people, because I can see that you have been very positive from the onset of this, you know, in the way you handle the situation from even before you talked about being contaminated with COVID-19. Your experience has been you started taking precautionary measures and you kept positive. That's the key word here, to remain positive and focused and sharing your information with people, that they can get the knowledge of, you know, not panicking, and that this is something that we all can get over just following the right procedures.
Well, Elvis, one of the things that I would recommend also to folks that being contaminated with COVID-19, please, to the general public out there, if you are being quarantined, try your best to stay at home. Elvis, while I was in isolation, because quarantine and isolation is two stuff.
Right.
As long as you're COVID positive, you're going to quarantine.
You're going to quarantine.
The folks that are around you will
have to
as long as you're positive, you're going to isolation, self-isolation.
Right.
And as long as the folks that are around you will go into quarantine, because they are not tested and they are not positive. Okay. One of the things I had to deal with during this, like one day I said, wow, no more bread in the house. And I live close to Cake House. I could say, let me run or let me send one of the kids. But discipline is the key, Elvis. What I did, I called my friend and said, hey, I need some bread. I need my gas finish. So you could come for the gas tomorrow, because I think it's going to last till tomorrow. And this is a good friend of mine, Mr. Curtis Wilson. Immediately he said, Cutty, don't worry. I'm going to come. And when he came, I had no choice than to give him the code from a gate for me to get in. He came inside, take the gas bottle. My wife we stayed inside and we tell him exactly what we needed. We said, when you come, just put it on the porch and we'll take it up. He went, he just bring the gas bottle. He did everything and put it there. And that was my go-to guy. And today, I want to say thanks to him, thanks to somebody else again, like Ginger. This guy named Ginger is a good friend of mine. He was the first person that bring that ginger and lime. He was the first person. Once he heard that I have that, he said, Cutty, I have something for you. And immediately he bring it. And Mr. Elvis, both you and I speak during my time of isolation. And I would tell you every day the way how I feel. One thing I was doing, Elvis, that as a person like the outdoor, and I would count every day. And every day I would send it into my family chat. I have a family chat in Curtlyn, I have a local family chat in St.Maarten that has my whole entire family around the world. And every day I would send to them, okay, day 3, I'm feeling fine, I don't have no symptoms still, day 4, and every day I just keep counting.
Keep everybody aware of what's going on.
I have a good friend, his name is Dave Harriott, he's a singer. He will keep me intact every day. Every day he will call and he say, hey Cutty, what's going on, man? How you feeling? What day today is? Day 6 or day 7? Sometimes the day slip me, that I forget what the day is. But it was
I imagine that had to be very uplifting for you.
Because trust me, if you should be isolated away from people for 14 days, man, you need something to keep your brain.
To keep your mind sane.
Yes. And the more I speak with people, the more I call my friends. And one thing, I wasn't afraid.
What was the reaction of your family when you repost it in the chat and let everybody know that you were free of COVID?
Well, before, when they heard I had COVID, Elvis, I have a praying family. And man, the amount of prayer every day, we praying. My wife is a Jamaican, and her mother and her father both are pastors. And you know, I break the news to them. I wanted my whole entire surrounding to know that yes, I have this thing. There's nothing to hide.
Yes.
It's not that I went out there and just hold somebody or hold a lady and get contaminated. No, it is there for anybody to be contaminated with.
Yes.
So you cannot be selfish about it. You gotta let people know about it and let them know exactly what you do.
But it doesn't mean that you have to drop your guard and not wear your mask
so
and
my
not sanitize
whole
your hands
entire
and stuff
family,
like that.
they had already known. They was praying. They was sending me messages every day. So every time I will talk to somebody different, you know, and that helped build courage. Because again, you cannot let your guard down and say, "Man, I'm feeling good today about this thing." No, you always gotta got this feeling like I'm gonna overcome this. This. You know, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna just go through this. Yeah, because it's tough knowing that you got this thing. Because in the first wave, when I hear somebody got it, I was like, "Yay, I do," you know.
Yeah.
But when it happened to me, I was like, "Wow, this is you know." The symptoms that I had was not severe. One of the things I learned, Elvis, during this COVID, you know, you have COVID-19, so you will do some research. One of the research that I, while going to different research, is that sleeping on your back. Sleeping on your back, you suppress certain stuff in your back that can cause your lungs, because it mostly attack your lungs.
To give you breathing problems.
Yeah, it gives you breathing problem. But I'm a person that don't really sleep on my back, so that was one of the guards that I get also. So even if I want to sleep on my back, I would always try to sleep on my side or sleep forward, you know, to help, because you go on your back and you stay on your back for 14 days. It's a
Was
major
it different sleeping on your back than any other?
Well, I'm not a sleeping on the back person, so
Okay.
it was, I guess probably even that helped me to be more free, because you do not want to block no way in your, and that's one of the reasons why you steam for the heat to clear your lungs. It's just like, okay, we have a common cold. If you have a common cold and you know it's snuffy, regularly we use a Vicks inhaler to clear our lungs, right? To clear our nostrils. To keep your breathing apparatus.
Yes.
All right.
Yes,
It's one of the same things with COVID. It takes advantage of your breathing apparatus. That's why you see many people will go to the hospital and go on the respirator to get oxygen to breathe, because that's what it tackles. So you has to use the steaming and drink a lot of hot stuff. Room temperature water, nothing cold. Eat a lot of fruits, eat a lot of vegetables. Those were the key. I would have to call my friend again, like I said, Mr. Wilson Curtis, and he will bring orange, whatever I need, he will bring it for me. One of the things, like I said earlier, my wife get a few upset because I would walk in the morning, I would walk to the house. Come on, you can't be walking in the house. So every time I walk, they will spray with alcohol, air freshener, making sure that I do not contaminate. The kitchen was restricted.
Off limits.
Off limit. Nowhere I could have gone in the kitchen. That was off limit. The only place, your bedroom to the restroom. If I want to come outside, say like, let me go outside and sit, I have a special chair. I had my own chair. Just imagine. If I want to come outside on the porch and catch fresh air, there was a chair designated for you. And as soon as you go back inside, they will spray everywhere you walk. Any handle you hold, they spray. It's like, and I didn't train them for it. They just know exactly what they have.
So you guys did this collectively and went through it
Collectively,
properly.
yes.
That's the right attitude, you know. And as I said again, your experience will be able to save a lot of people's lives, because it was very powerful that you just shared with the people of this country and maybe in the entire world as your experience of how you went through this process. And I must say, I must commend you for being so brave, you know, because there's a lot of people that would not be able to handle the situation as you did. And I must give you a lot of props for that, you know. Very, very good. Very, very good. Well, I guess we can wrap it up. and I want to thank you again for.
Well, Elvis, just before we close off, I would like to say a big thank you for all those people that reach out to me. And currently, I am reaching back out to people. Currently, I'm helping. I think it's about 4 or 5 people. I mean, right now we don't have any more bush because all the bush I had, I just keep going to the factory, which is my cousin that gave me the bush first.
Yes.
And she said, Cutty, I don't have no more, but I want to help these people so bad.
Yes.
So now I start to use the shot. The thing in the shot.
The ginger shot.
The ginger shot. Well, there is ginger, and there is one that the same ginger and ginger and lime and turmeric mixed with it. They blend the turmeric. It's the same thing. It give you that. It just like a burn the heat off.
So you recommend that highly for people that?
That is number one, man. That clears this whole area. It clears this whole area of your chest. Ginger, garlic, turmeric. I had, well, in the first couple of days, I did that. Ginger, turmeric, garlic, orange peel. My wife boiled it and I drink it as a tea. It was like,
So you recommend a lot of tea and a lot of this ginger?
A lot of tea. Yeah. But one of the things, before we close the program, one of, my recommendation to people and to the government is to, I think we need to let the public know, because I mean we have 200 plus cases in St.Maarten, and one of the things that we are not really enforcing is what to do when you contaminate COVID-19. There is a press conference almost every day or whenever these press conferences come on, and it is so perfect. Wear your mask, wash your hand, remember social distancing. Yes, we already are doing that, but one of the things we need to tell people how to boost the immune system, and that's one of the things that that's why I was so happy to come forward and share my experience with the people.
Yes, there you go.
And I think that is very important. I mean, you can, like I said, you can't just say, okay, yeah, wash your hand, wear your mask, social distance, keep out the crowds. Yes, but what happens when you get COVID-19? What happens after that? Yes.
What's the next process? What's the next step?
There is a process, and it is on the government website. It's written there. There are stuff that they've written there to boost your immune system. But one of the things that I've learned over the years, that there are many people, I would say up to 70% of the people, that one with a long passage. Yes. The one, it's too much, just,
So you're saying government should find another
vocally, they should be saying it. Just as you're telling people, wear your mask, wear your thing, wear this. You should be signing up, ladies and gentlemen, if you should ever, or before you get COVID, please drink a lot of bush tea, stay away from cold stuff, get vitamin C, get vitamin D.
Get the message out there.
Get the message out. I mean, it is written. Yes. Again, many people go to the supermarket and they just take in the car. Yeah,
they don't read
we don't read to see if it's expired, because you trust that the supermarket have it at the shelf so it won't expire. Yes, the only time you will check if it's expired is if it's on special, because most of the things are going. Why they put it on special is fishy, then you check the date. But if most people just take a minute, they hard to do it. One of the next recommendation would be being we have 200 plus cases. This is just my thing. I think we should go back to phase 1. And it is not a popular decision, but it's not every time that you're going to make popular decisions. Sometimes.
But do you know that unpopular decisions are usually the best decisions?
Sometimes unpopular decisions are the best. Because I would take it back to phase 1. We are open. Our economy is staggering. Is in dire need of help. We are fighting to get help. The help is not coming the way it should be coming.
Not coming fast enough.
Fast enough. I wouldn't say close the country, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion. I wouldn't say close on a lockdown. Remain open, remain vigilant, remain steadfast. But in order for us to get this under control, I think we got to go back to phase 1. Where, at nights, whether you want to say from 10 o'clock, from 9 o'clock, we put a curfew at night. 9 o'clock until 5 in the morning, nobody, absolutely nobody allowed to be on the road. Because Elvis, currently there's so much of house party. Yeah. You stop the nightclubs, you stop this, you stop that, but there's house party.
So you think government dropped their guards in terms of allowing too much to go on?
Yes, I think that if we close the entire public, we close off. Even if government want to give everybody a permit to work from, let's say 6 o'clock in the morning, you can operate from 6 till 9 in the night. But 9 o'clock there must be a close. Because the business are suffering, so you have to find a way. Let them open. 9 o'clock, cut off time from 10 o'clock, nobody allowed to be on the road. Nobody, absolutely, only the emergency service. And we do it for 2 weeks and see. I guarantee that we should be down at least 50 counts. We should go down at least 50. But this is just my opinion. This is what I am thinking of, that would work. I mean,
well, let's hope that this message gets out to government's ears,
would
and
really
they will also get a take of what's going on. And as you said, your experience sharing COVID-19 and everything, and your whole, this whole 9 yards that you went through. Let's hope that they can see the best out of this, and they'll be able to benefit from it. Especially most people that probably have been contaminated with COVID-19, what they should be doing, staying positive and using all the methods necessary to get us out of this. But I believe in all hands on deck. We need that right now. We need all hands on deck where we get everybody to do the right thing, stay focused, stay vigilant, wear a mask, social distance, and let's hope together with this, with governments, we can get out of this.
Well, let's hope, Elvis. Thanks for having me, and stay tuned, folks. Like I said, the Curtlyn Warner Show, this is just the beginning step. Remember, the new program is called Let's Talk About It. I'm your host, and the host for today, Mr. Elvis Flanders, and he will be my co-host towards this journey of the new program that's called Let's Talk About It. Folks, we ask you to like, subscribe, and share this message. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, Mr.
Flanders.
And thank you for today's program as well.
Appreciate it.